Hello boys and girls, this is Art Start number 11, and today I'm going to teach you about an artist, and I think you will really enjoy his work. I was fortunate enough to be able to acquire one of his pieces of art on a trip I took, and when I first saw it I thought to myself, I want this piece of art. So I hope that you enjoy hearing about this famous artist. You will also be making an owl picture yourself. You might have your owl there and you might be ready to get started on making an outline. But let me just tell you a little bit about this artist. His name is David Lee Batard, but he goes by Lebo. Now let me see if you can figure this out. He was born in 1972. I want you to tell me how old he would be today. So be thinking about that. Let me just tell you a little bit about his work. This is one of the little biographies about his artwork that I thought you could see before I show you my picture. David Lee Batard, also known as Lebo, was born in New York City in 1972 to Cuban immigrant parents. Now that means that his parents lived in Cuba and they decided to come to the United States. Back in that year of 1972 and before many people were coming to America for freedom and a new way of life. So when he got here, he moved to South Florida and he was surrounded by Cuban art, which has a great influence on his artistic style. He was fascinated by cartoons and creating artwork on his own when he was a boy. And while he was in school, he dedicated his free time to teaching himself to draw and learning different forms of art such as brush techniques, ancient calligraphy, and classic cartoon drawing. In 1995, when he was 23 years old, he graduated from the Florida International University and took residency, that means he began to live, at the International Museum of Cartoon Art in Boca Raton, Florida. And he would give talks and lectures on the practical and technical approaches of illustration. During this time, he began looking for ways to work on his art in a more social setting than alone in his studio. This then led him to work during his friends' band practices, and he found that this atmosphere brought his work to a new creative level. Now I want you to picture this for a minute. Before, he was working on his work in a studio all by himself and very quiet, and probably he got a little bit lonely and decided, you know, maybe I could do my art somewhere else. So, I just told you, he decided to go to his friends' band practices. So while the band was practicing, he was working on his paintings or his artwork while he was listening to the music. That's very cool because you're combining several of your senses, not only your sight, but your hearing, your feelings, a lot of emotion. So I think that would be really cool when you make your picture to put on a little music and kind of work to the music. But I want to show you this one. I really like it. I think you will as well. It's just, when you look at it, the colors just pop out at you. And as you see, there's an owl that is over to the left. Many times when you are doing a picture, you don't put your main thing, being the owl, right in the middle. You sometimes will off-center it, maybe put it over this way or over this way. That makes a more interesting piece of art. So right here over on the left, he has put his owl. Then there's the branch of the trees, and there's all the other things he's incorporated. As you can see, the colors are very bold. When I passed this piece of art, all of a sudden I looked at it, and then I went back again and I looked at it again. That's when I knew that I wanted to get this piece of art. And remember I told you that he practiced calligraphy, that is writing. Well, in a lot of his writing, in a lot of his artwork, he has messages. And this one says spiritual revival. Think about what that means for a minute. If your spirit is revived, that means usually that your spirit wakes up, or it feels better, or something new happens inside. I've been to many revivals in my life, and when I finish a revival, say at my church or something, I come out and I feel much better. My life takes on a new excitement and a new meaning. But as you're seeing this picture, be thinking about how you want your owl picture to look. What kind of message would you like to put on your owl picture? You don't have to do it just like Lebo, but I think he is a great artist who can inspire us all to have a little fun with this type of art. Hope you enjoy it. He's still living today. He's a live artist. Many times we study artists that have already passed on, but he is a current Florida artist. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.